Thank you for tuning in to this video in our series about issues related to the COVID-19 virus in Vermont. Today, I have Joy O'Neill with me. She is a licensed clinical mental health counselor at Psychotherapy and Wellness in Burlington. We will be talking about how Vermonters can take care of their mental health, facing new social guidelines, and the stress that comes with this pandemic. Thank you for joining me today, Joy.
Happy to be here, not in the most happiest of times, but definitely glad to be here.
Well, thank you for this, and I'm sure it'll be helpful for a lot of folks. To begin with, this is obviously a very stressful time. I think everybody already knows that. People are concerned. They're experiencing more stress and worry and anxiety than normal, even though people often have some of that in their normal lives when we're not in a pandemic. Some of the things, for instance, right now, tremendous financial anxiety as people are concerned about the workplace situation, family stress caused by all kinds of things, including full-time home care for kids and education, less opportunity for individual space. What are some of the general pieces of advice that you would give Vermonters on how to get through this pandemic mentally?
I am finding some common themes and things that seem to be helpful for people that are kind of navigating a new moment in history. I'm talking about it. The first thing is attending to the self. So always, as part of the work that I do with people, is the value of attending to self, and not in a selfish way, but in a self-care way. And now at this juncture, I have to say, like, this is more important than ever. So if you think about it, our general stress has just magnified in a big way, not just for our own individual lives, but for everyone we know out there. So things shifted, and they shifted really quickly. All those situations that you're talking about. And I'm recognizing that the value of self-care is needed now more than ever. And I would say even up your game. So what that means is, if you are typically somebody that attends to stress by like going for a walk, cuddling with your dog, meditating, talking it through with a friend. Now maybe you're doing it over over video or from afar. Whatever your stress outlet is, validate it first, and then I would even encourage you to increase it. So that's first and foremost. And then from that place, people are finding, okay, once I take care of myself, I actually can, I think about it as steadying through the storm. So if you steady yourself, you're going to be more available to help others in this time, even your immediate family, your friends, your neighbors, your whoever's in need. So first and foremost, start there. I think a couple other things though, as general advice, finding that schedules got rocked, and the shelter in place mandate that came quickly. And so what people are really tapping into is figuring out, at first it was just rocking everybody's world, and then it was quickly moving into, how do I create a schedule that works for me and keep some calm and some structure in my daily life? And that has seemed to be really important and helpful for lots of people out there. So first up, take care of yourself. Self first, in the ways that you know how to do, and increase it just because we're validating that the stress is higher. Second step, form some type of rhythm of the day in your new structured, what initially seemed unstructured life. Attempt to put some structure into it. I would say has been helpful for lots of people out there. The other piece in there is that I think in some of these situations we've been familiar with doing maybe multiple jobs in multiple places, but now they've all been within the home often.
Compressed right in.
Exactly. So now think about, and we've been adding jobs to the plate, really. It may seem like there's some simplification that's happening, but there's also, like, for some families, it's about being, doing your job, doing it at home. Now you're helping the kids out, or you're helping your parents out in some way, or you're figuring out how to support a neighbor, whatever, everything. Oh, and now you're always cooking. There's no option to go to other avenues for resources. All the resources kind of have moved within the domain. So I'm talking to people about asking a little bit less from themselves in there. Like some of the rules and expectations for self that might have applied before, they may not necessarily need to be as strongly adhered to now. Give yourself a break of sorts, okay?
I have a hard time with that, so I'll try to listen to your advice.
I think we all do. I mean, I think a lot of us do. I'm not going to say we all do, but I think a lot of us do.
What about some negative mental health symptoms that Vermonters should be aware of? You know, if you see yourself doing X or responding in some way, what are some of those clues that we can use to identify in ourselves when we're starting to maybe need that break?
Two of the bigger hitters are going to be depression and anxiety. I think on some level, most of us carry a certain level of anxiety in our, or worry, let's say, in our daily lives. And now you may find that it's heavier hitting than typically. That's understandable. So in terms of like what to look out for yourself or for your loved ones, it's, I think it's kind of the reverse of everything I was saying. The reason why I talk about putting some structure in place is because I've been working with, I've seen this happen even pretty quickly, of having a less structured day moves into like, oh, I'll just sleep in. Oh, I don't really have to be, and there's been a lot of loss for people out there. So loss of jobs. I don't really have to be accountable for something. And then that can eke into this place of, well, where's my motivation and what do I do next? So losing that rhythm of the day it can make it really difficult. And I've heard from people like, okay, the weekdays start to blend a little bit with the weekends because everything is a little bit off balance. So you may experience more sadness than usual. You may experience less motivation than usual. You may experience more worry than usual. All of those things are understandable. And I would say, given the current what's happening out there, they're not things to be overly concerned about yet. If they persist for more extended periods of time and you find like, oh, I'm not, sleeping in a day or two, that was something, but now like having trouble getting out of bed, now we're on to another issue.
Okay.
So it's when it's more prolonged and persistent and you're having trouble pulling yourself out of whatever, whether it's the worry, if it's a worry or if it's a sadness or feeling low and feeling down and having really negative thoughts.
Yeah.
That's when you want to get additional supports on board.
Are there specific mental health or grounding exercises that Vermonters can do at home?
There's a lot of different things that you can do. The first resource I would go to is within the self. And what I mean by that is, if you have strategies during normal times of stress, like even if you have, let's say you have a meditation practice, but you haven't tended to it in a while, maybe haven't even needed it or didn't have time for it. Okay, there's some time now that may be more available to you. So I would bring that back into place. So tap in first. I'm going to give you a couple ideas, but I want you to tap in first to the things that you most anchor in on. What helps you feel grounded? And identifying what those things are can be really tricky. So you can play with different things, but a lot of us naturally have things that just kind of lift us up or help us feel better or help us feel calmer. And we need to identify with those things and then bring them back. And I would say bring them back in a more consistent way if you can. In terms of a couple exercises, and something I've been thinking about with this is paying attention to your breath. And this is important for a lot of reasons, but especially given the nature of the virus that we're attending to, that really getting in touch with your breath will be useful and will be grounding. I have a really simple exercise that I've always loved, because this breathing exercise you can do at home, you can do out, you can do it like when you're in a conversation even sometimes, and the other person won't know. So it's quick, it's easy, it's grounding, it centers you, and you can tap into it anytime. So it's called 4-7-8. And all that means is you're going to breathe in for 4 counts in your nostril, in your nose, and then you're going to hold your breath for 7 counts. And then before you release, I tend to take a big, one more deep breath in. So, and then I exhale for 8 counts. So 4 in, hold for 7, deep breath in, and then exhale.
You personally, if we can go there, how are you dealing with this time? What can either you do, what are you doing, and or what can we do as a community to support healthcare providers like yourself?
Absolutely. Well, to be quite honest with you, being able to do this, David, was excellent. Like this is what I think there's a lot of us out there that are craving, like how can we give, how can we support, how can we, and it's having to be creative in those ways. So I will say already that you helped me with that one, because that's been turning in my, what can I be doing? I have also taken this, I will say I've taken this as an opportunity. We run a very, a very busy ship in the O'Neill homestead. So
Sure.
this has been a good exploration for myself and our family to slow down and to rejoin, regroup, and so many, it's been amazing, even though all of the stress exists outside of there within our unit, to know that we have each other, we have this time, we've been finding things to do. That's probably been part of the key to it, creating some projects on top of just the typical doing your work. The other thing is that I'm doing a bit of, and I know a lot of people are out there, but I'm finding people are connecting in more via the video, even like families from afar, bringing people. I was thinking the other day, I'm like, we have more people in our house than we probably ever have. They're all on screens, but they're in, and that's kind of a, the fact that we have the opportunity to do that is also wonderful. And I will balance that with take time away from the screens as well.
I think a lot of people are calling friends. I mean, is that another suggestion, whether it's near or far, just calling folks, even if you can't do it on a screen?
Absolutely. And, maybe the best combination would be even taking that friend for a walk on the phone, if possible, or, but somehow staying connected. And even if that's not it, like doing or creating some art, whatever your vice is, and sharing that, even if it's mailing it, people are really tapping into how to get creative and connect.
Well, thank you. And with some of that gratitude, interestingly enough, we just started a gratitude meme on our website as well, where people have a little sign they can hold up saying what they're grateful for, and just put that out there, whether it's some word or words and their kid or their kids. And we're just going to see where that goes. But, I think compassion for others and gratitude for what you have or what your circumstances, sometimes those two things are actually very related.
They're very related. And I think what's beautiful about them is that they leave room for us to, they actually are avenues to decreasing stress.
Mm-hmm.
So being outside of ourselves actually helps us really decrease stress and anxiety. And that's really what people are needing right now, I think, the most.
Thank you for being here with me today. Joy, thanks to our viewers. I hope they get something out of this and can share with others if it's been helpful for them. If you or viewers out there want more information about COVID-19 in Vermont, you can visit the Vermont Department of Health website at www.healthvermont.gov. You can also visit my website, www.zuckerman4vt.com, for other COVID-19 resources. I'm Lieutenant Governor David Zuckerman. This was one of my many conversations that I'll be having with experts about Vermont during this coronavirus pandemic and how we can all make it through these challenging times together. And Joy, thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.